my job to make sure your mom can see you.
Well, left hand.
Remember, first row, you are right up against the right. Now, you, sir, you're on all three. You're on blue. You're on blue. Okay, having a
要看了，爸爸要拍那个吧。
Look at you. All right, let me see. This is my job to make sure your mom can see you.
I don't want to do this.
Okay.
Quiet, please. Let me look at you. What a good look. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Quiet, please. Everybody smile. Welcome to our show. Family and friends, are you ready to rock? It's rock and roll is here to stay. Macaroni and cheese.
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 Macaroni and cheese. If you please. You get the pot and boil it. Put it in a fire. Take that water out of that macaroni. Put some cheese on it and it's ready to eat. Macaroni and cheese.
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 Macaroni and cheese. If you please.
What trick ya? Mayonnaise. Ladies and gentlemen, that gives you a taste of what the students do in gym class, the various activities that are available. And now, the students go to science lab. Among the science concepts is force and gravity. So this song is our science lab song. It takes force.
It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up.
It takes force.
It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up.
There's gotta
Be a better way than just miles straight. Gravity pulling down, hitting their weight. Oh, it takes force. It takes force
to lift up.
to lift up.
It takes force.
It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up. If I try and lift straight up, it takes a lot of force. If I can't push it up a ramp, it's easier, of course. Oh, it takes force. It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up.
It takes force.
It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up. Pushing, pulling up a ramp is one way to do. Living life kind of way to roll. My chances improve. Oh, it takes force. It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up.
It takes force.
It takes force
To lift up.
to lift up.
Now, our Spanish song, very hard song, but the kids have worked hard, and here we go.
Hey,
准备看吗？
要去啊。如果马
Ladies
上
and
上来，
gentlemen, each student has been able to play a melody on the xylophone this year. We don't have 108 xylophones, so I picked some kids to demonstrate the rock and roll classic, Barracuda.
他们明下来。
在那里，在那里。
哦，他在抽鼓是吧？哦。你看呢？
看我摄像机里面，这边。
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been quite a night with open house and our art show. Isn't that amazing, the art we have displayed up there? Also, the teachers made sure that all the kids painted that backdrop. So your child had a stroke or two on that. If you'd like to pick up the artwork, we sent a note home about this. You can purchase the frame tonight if you like. We'll have cashiers at the front desk. So if you want to take your child's artwork, the frame is like $30 if you want to purchase that. If you don't want to purchase it, the artwork will be sent home. And proceeds go to a couple of sources, and one of them, the money gets back in the MECC. Same thing with our DVD, Tri-State Productions. Again, we make that as a courtesy to the parents. You don't have to buy, of course. It is a fundraiser, but again, it's only just a courtesy. I know all three of my kids are in college now, so every now and then I get out one of the old DVDs or one of the CDs and relive the memories. All three of my kids went all 12 grades in Mason. So that is available. You can see our fine folks at Tri-State Production for the order forms. And you can even go online and get one from Tri-State Productions also. So again, that's the artwork. You can just go get your child's artwork after the concert and pay up front. I want to say a lot of thank yous. A lot of hard work goes into this. Our administrator on duty tonight is Kathy Weber. She's the assistant principal. Mike Zimmerman is a phenomenal principal who was in the forefront of even designing this building. And whenever we need something, he's a big help. So we thank Mike and the administrative staff. Tonight is Kathy Weber. The custodians do an unbelievable job. They set up, they tear up. We kind of make things up on the fly. We got this big art show. We got all this. They say, what do you need? What do you need? I want to thank our custodial staff that is phenomenal to work with. First grade teachers, they know it gets kind of crazy. They just say, what do you need? I come in the last second with something, and our first grade teachers, they say, go to it. And so we appreciate that. We brought back an old friend. Patty Cuss is retired, but she's such an important part. She's the science teacher that retired, but she was such a big part of this whole production through the years. We brought Patty back, so I wanted to thank Patty, because she's just helping me and helping us so much. And then our special teachers. You saw Mr. Johnston's work. He likes to hide behind the scenes. He's kind of shy. Miss Skirl is, she's back running the sound. Miss Skirl's been great. She is the science lab teacher, and she taught him that song about force. And then Senora Hayes, Mrs. Hayes is our Spanish teacher. She just does a phenomenal job. And again, we all work together. And again, our art teachers, Bobby Georgeton and Katie Horning, just unbelievable work. Let's give all those special teachers a big round of applause. Well, we got another concert with another group, but you know what? It's getting late, boys and girls. Let's get our jammies on.
I want to see you in your jammies on the count of 1, 2, 3. Get your jammies on.
Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on. Jammies on. Wash your face.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth.
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers. Then go to the sleep.
Wash your face.
Wash your face.
They're looking at Mama. Huh?
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers. 1, 2, 3.
Get your jammies on. Come on, come on.
Get your jammies on.
Get your jammies on. Come on, come on.
Get your jammies on.
Get your jammies on. Come on, come on.
Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on. Jammies on.
Everybody get up and put your jammies on. Everybody get up and put your jammies on. Everybody get up and put your jammies on. Wash your face.
Wash your face.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth.
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers. Then go to sleep.
Wash your face.
Wash your face.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth.
Say your prayers.
Say your prayers. 1, 2, 3.
Get your jammies on. Come on, come on.
Get your jammies on.
Get your jammies on. Come on, come on.
Get your jammies on.
Get your jammies on. Get your jammies on.
Jammies on.
Okay, you guys really need to go to bed now.
everybody.